When Harvard University talks about changes to the college admissions process, everyone listens. And a new report from Harvard University is recommending placing more emphasis on factors like good citizenship and contributions to family, while de-emphasizing excessive academic achievement and SATs. Sounds great, but will Harvard and other elite schools actually put these recommendations into practice? The lead author of the report, Richard Weissbourd, a senior lecturer with the Harvard Graduate School of Education, joins us now to discuss. Welcome, Richard. Tell us more about your report, Making Caring Common. What are your principal recommendations? The
answer to your question is the report is trying to say that what's meaningful, what matters, is not long brag sheets. It's not long lists of accomplishments. It's not how many extracurricular activities you take. It's not having 10 AP courses. It's meaningful intellectual engagement, and it's meaningful ethical engagement. It's being concerned about others and being concerned about the common good.
How do you quantify, though, that? How can you actually demonstrate something like that?
Well, in terms of ethical engagement, we're saying a few different things. One is that family contributions, demanding family contributions, should matter a lot. So students who are working to support their families, taking care of a younger sibling, taking care of a sick relative, they should report those things on the applications. It's very important to report those things. We are also saying that recommenders should give concrete examples. They should have choices among characteristics in defining students. And I will also say that, admissions officers, by and large, in my experience, are astute. They can tell a trumped-up application, an inauthentic application, from a meaningful one. They can tell a meaningful essay about community engagement or community service.
Now, is the belief that these new recommendations can also help level the admissions playing field a bit? A lot has been made about the advantages that
absolutely. So we're trying to level the playing field in two different ways. One is by measuring strengths and contributions more fairly across race, culture, and class. So there are a lot of low-income, working-class kids who are contributing to their families, contributing to their communities in ways that aren't getting captured in the current admissions process. But, there's one problem of some kids loading up on AP courses, taking too many, but the bigger problem is kids not having access to AP courses.
Right.
So if the metric is having large numbers of AP courses, a lot of kids can't take large numbers of AP courses. If the metric is that the SAT is super important, and by the way, we're just saying you should consider making the SAT optional. But if the SAT becomes very important, or large numbers of extracurricular activities become very important, kids don't have access to, in low-income and working-class communities, they often don't have access to large number of extracurricular activities, and they don't have access to SAT tutors and coaches. And again, we are just saying you should consider making the SAT optional.
Absolutely. So, but how likely is that? I mean, we've been hearing for a while about the problems with the SATs, but how likely is it that Harvard and all of these other elite schools will actually next year say, you know what, the SAT is optional?
I don't think it's likely next year. I think it may happen over time. One of the things we're recommending in the report is that colleges really consider whether the SAT is predictive of success at their school. So, it may be that a high math score, excuse me, a high math score on the SAT is predictive of success at MIT or Cal Poly or Caltech, and that's why the SAT turns out to be a good metric for those schools. It may not be a good metric for a liberal arts school for which math is not a strong component of an education. So we are asking for schools to be more contextual and to look at their particular populations.
Right. Now, of course, this sounds wonderful, being able to measure a student's empathy and kindness and community spirit. But will all of this also help prepare graduates for the increasingly competitive job market after graduation?
Well, we don't think that there's anything inconsistent about doing community engagement and being academically rigorous. And we're certainly not suggesting that students should not be academically rigorous. We are suggesting they focus on quality over quantity, that it's perfectly sufficient and great if you just want to take 2 or 3 AP courses, a few AP courses, and really excel and really work hard in those, and take courses that you're really passionate about and that ignite you. So, and I also think that if you do community engagement, you can develop all these social emotional skills, problem-solving skills, group skills, perspective-taking skills that, research is increasingly showing are very important for job success, especially for success in a competitive global economy.
Well, Richard Weissbourd, I, for one, hope colleges adapt your suggestions sooner rather than later. They all sound fantastic. Thank you so much for telling us about this today.
Thank you so much.